Straight ahead on WBKB, an update on the L&N Greenway fire.
Plus, testimony today on a series of election reform bills, and meet the Alpena County employee who serves in a very important role.
You're watching Thunder Bay News Network. WBKB News at 6 starts now.
This is WBKB News at 6. An in-depth look at news, weather, and sports. From hard-hitting news stories to local events, we're there with coverage you can count on. You're watching WBKB News at 6.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Sherry Stewart.
And I'm Tyler Cruz. A fire late Monday night totally destroyed an Alpena area business.
Yeah, Tyler. Crews, that is, were called to a huge fire at L&N Greenway Disposal on US 23. Drivers passing by the building reported the fire. The Alpena Fire Department says no one was injured. The area was closed for several hours while crews worked to put out the fire. The Alpena Fire Department was assisted by several other first responders because of the size of the fire.
This was a great team effort between the city and all the other departments. We also had Jerome's Towing and Georgie's Towing came out, and MacArthur Excavating, the Red Cross. You know, fires happen. When they happen like this in Alpena, people just seem to want to come out and help, and it's great to have that support.
Firefighters and L&N staff worked together to save a number of trucks and equipment near the building. The structure is a total loss.
The suspect in April's home invasion has been returned to Michigan. Law enforcement returned Alan Jerome Hughes Jr. to Michigan on Saturday. He's currently waiting in a Jackson Guidance Center for his arraignment in Alpena. Police arrested Hughes in Arizona earlier this month for his alleged involvement in the April 30th invasion. Police are still looking for the second person involved in the case. Now here's meteorologist Ellie Morrison with a first check of the weather. Ellie, Sherry was making fun of me because I said it was humid out today. What's the verdict?
It was humid earlier. The humidity has briefly dropped off. So the answer to was it humid? Yes. Is it humid currently? A little bit less so. We are seeing a mix of sun and clouds over Lachine. You can see some of those puffy cumulus clouds out there in the sky with some blue mixing in as well. A little bit cloudier just north of Rose City along M33. And this is future radar showing us what we can expect through the rest of the night. And it's going to be after midnight that showers and thunderstorms are going to move towards the east and head into our area. So later tonight, between about midnight and 6 a.m., that's when we'll have our greatest chance of any showers and thunderstorms pushing through our area. That continues heading off to the east, and we'll see clearing skies through most of the day tomorrow. Temperatures this evening will be hanging in the lower to middle 70s, so still quite warm, and then we'll have pre-dawn low temperatures heading to about 62 degrees. During the late morning around lunchtime, we'll hit a high near 74 degrees, and then temperatures will be heading into the 60s during the late afternoon. It's going to turn significantly colder on Thursday. I'll let you know what we'll need to be bundling up for coming up later in the newscast.
All right, Ellie, we'll see you in a bit. The number of U.S. adults who are now vaccinated continues to slowly climb, and there may be a new shot available for kids.
Yeah, that's right, Cherry. And a new report is looking into the exact origins of the coronavirus. Deborah Alfarone has more details from Washington, D.C.
The U.S. is hitting a milestone today with half of all American adults now fully vaccinated. To push that number higher, the Biden administration is allowing states to use federal funds to pay people to get the shot.
This includes lottery programs for vaccinated individuals, cash or in-kind transfers, or other monetary incentives for individuals who get vaccinated.
This comes as Moderna says its vaccine is safe for kids ages 12 to 17. The company plans to ask regulators to authorize the shot's emergency use in that age group. Moderna says out of more than 3,700 children in its clinical trial, there were no COVID-19 cases in those receiving its vaccine, compared to 4 cases in the placebo group. The vaccine also showed kids produce similar antibodies as vaccinated adults, with the same side effects of sore arms, headache, and fatigue.
Hopefully we'll be able to get adolescent vaccine, high school students vaccinated actually before they enter the full term, which is really very good news.
While governments race to get their citizens vaccinated, the search for the origins of the virus continues with a new report linking it back to a lab in Wuhan, China. The Wall Street Journal says an intelligence report indicates 3 employees at this Wuhan lab studying viruses had to be hospitalized in November 2019, a month before the first reported cases of COVID-19.
A transparent, independent phase 2 investigation, that's something we have strongly supported. That would require China finally stepping up and allowing access needed to determine the origins.
China's foreign ministry calls the reports totally untrue. Deborah Alfarone, CBS News, Washington.
Montmorency County may be closing their county jail and moving their inmates into Alpena's new building. Tomorrow morning, commissioners from Montmorency County will vote on closing down their jail. Earlier today, Alpena's Board of Commissioners approved moving forward with the process, but they have not began writing a contract yet.
Until it gets approved by Montmorency and today by us. Only thing we agreed upon today was a 10-year contract with a 10-year renewal and $250,000 a year for the first 3 years.
Montmorency currently houses around 9 inmates. Alpena is still in the process of hiring corrections officers and would need to hire more in order to house Montmorency's inmates. And there are other details besides the price and the length of the contract that will be addressed once the 2 counties can move forward with the process.
The unknowns as far as the medical and how much it's going to cost the house up to 15. We know some of the fixed costs like the meals and stuff like that. So that'll be addressed in the contract when we get going with it.
Peterson said Montmorency's corrections officers would be able to apply in Alpena, but the sheriff has discretion over all hires.
A solution may soon be on the way for residents of one Alpena neighborhood. Earlier this month, residents of Partridge Point expressed their concerns to the Alpena Township Board of Trustees. Neighbors say loud music, litter, and speeding through the area are coming from people who visit the park. One member of the South Bay Association Board, which owns the park, offers a solution.
I did send an email to Cody Stevens of the DNR Forestry Division after also talking with several of our board members, asking them to consider moving the gate that's at the Frog Lane parking lot up closer to the road.
Clark says this will allow more cars to move through the area. He also mentioned wheelchair access at the park may soon be in the works. Clark says the association, along with area residents, have been working together to clean litter from the park.
That's good news.
Yeah.
Michigan lawmakers heard testimony today on election reform bills.
One of them, House Bill 4876, would require election inspectors to sign an affidavit indicating their party affiliation. The Michigan Association of Municipal Clerks says they oppose the bill, fearing it would create unnecessary confusion on election day.
There are a lot of balls in the air on election morning, and to try to have to figure out whether or not you have an affidavit for the worker in the appropriate precinct that they end up with seems pretty unnecessary.
Supporters of the bill, meanwhile, say it's necessary to ensure integrity at each polling precinct.
I went around to another precinct. They did not have a Republican inspector. That polling place should have been shut down. And I can tell you why we keep having these things happen. Because there is no affidavits filled out stating of your party affiliation, and that's why we need this.
Democratic lawmakers have accused Republicans of pushing for new legislation based on misinformation about the security of Michigan's election.
Alpena County Jail has a unique position that has been filled. WBKB's Stephanie Minichi has more.
Like any county jail, staffing is extremely important. You have everyone from your administrative staff to your deputies, as well as your sheriff. But here at Alpena County Jail, there's one employee whose role is just as important.
Bailey's onboarding was a little different than other employees. Sheriff Scott Stevenson and Bailey met in a very unexpected way.
A gentleman was arrested for operating under the influence in Alpena County, and Bailey happened to be a passenger in the vehicle. Because he was arrested, Bailey went to the Humane Society in Lincoln, where she stayed for several days and was unclaimed by the owner in the end.
The local Humane Society called Stevenson to find Bailey a new home. Stevenson was heartbroken over the loss of his own husky, who went missing in 2018. Once he met Bailey, all of that changed. County Commissioner Carolyn Brumman says Bailey attends the commissioners' meetings.
She is just welcome wherever she goes, really. So, but especially at commissioners' meetings. You have fun with her.
Bailey's daily job duties include checking all of the different offices to see who has snacks for her. Like many state guidelines, employees must take their breaks and lunches. Bailey makes sure to do that. Whenever Bailey doesn't show up, staff has one question for Stevenson.
Usually it's where's Bailey, and so then when she does come in, it's always nice to get to see her for a second and get to pet her and then of course get back to work.
Now Bailey's been with Alpena County for approximately 1 year now. Her schedule is Monday through Thursday and she doesn't get sick days, but neither does the sheriff. In Alpena, Stephanie Manici, WBKB News.
Well, Sherry, that dog is adorable.
She is cute. I think we need a Bailey around here.
Help us out a little bit more. More news ahead for you here on WBKB. The animals don't stop there. Don't miss your pets of the week. And meteorologist Elliot
above of Alpena Harbor as they were taking a flight in their plane on Sunday evening. Thank you, Sean and Gail, for sending us this photo. If you have a photo such as nature shots, pics with friends, or interesting sights you see that you would like to send us, email it along with a short description to news@wbkb11.com.
That's an awesome shot. I wonder if we can come next time.
I'm hoping so.
Coming up on WBKB News, how certain diets can improve heart health, and Jake Vanderbrook will have the latest in sports. Stay tuned.
In health, which type of diet will help strengthen cardiac health? And a new study looks at the long-term health risks for women who have gestational diabetes. Famie Redwood has a look at the day's top health stories.
New research finds women who experience gestational diabetes are more likely to develop type 1 and type 2 diabetes later in life. While gestational diabetes usually disappears after pregnancy, researchers in Finland found 50% of patients later went on to develop type 2 diabetes and a small percentage developed type 1. Many people skipped their breast cancer screenings during the COVID-19 pandemic, and a new study shows that women of color and those in rural areas were disproportionately affected. Researchers in Washington state found completed mammograms declined nearly 50% overall. The drops were even steeper among Hispanic women and indigenous women. And diets focused on lowering blood pressure may also help your overall cardiac health. This according to a new study published in the Journal of the American College of Cardiology. It found that a low-sodium diet combined with the so-called DASH diet, which is high in fruits and vegetables, also reduces heart injury and strain. Those are some of the day's top health stories. Famie Redwood, CBS News, New York.
Well, Sherry, earlier we went down to Alpena and we met Bailey, and now it's time to meet Jack, Rosalie, Maya, and Kelsey. Kent Davis has more.
Our first pets today are two very active puppies. Meet Jack. He's a 10-week-old lab bloodhound mix and has a lovely dark brown coat. This little fella's perceptive and playful. In fact, he's already figured out the basics of fetch. Jack and his siblings are still teething though, so be careful. Next up, we have his sister, Rosalie. She's not as curious as her brother, but she is far cuddlier. Rosalie is all about that sweet, sweet attention, so make sure to give her plenty of belly rubs. Now we go from young and outgoing puppies to introverted cats. Say hello to Maya. She's about a year old and kinda shy. However, she'll approach you for cuddles if you keep yourself open and non-threatening. Maya's also got a curious side. Check out how she examines my tripod. Finally, take a look at Kelsey. She's definitely a cat who wants her space. She'll tolerate petting, but really it makes her nervous. Kelsey needs a home that will respect her boundaries and give her time to get comfortable. To learn more about adoption, you can follow the link to the Humane Society on our website, WBKB11.com.
Well, you know I love my cat, but the more dogs, the merrier.
Yeah.
Sports is coming up next, but first, Jake Vanderbrook is in with a preview. Jake, what's going on tonight?
Hey, Tyler, what's happening? Next in sports, Alpena Golf made the trip out to Gaylord to compete in the Big North Conference Championships. We'll let you know how they did. Plus, some BNC softball for you on this Tuesday. Early highlights of Game 1 between Petoskey and Alpena. Keep it here, ladies and gentlemen, because the sports is coming up next.
Thank you for watching WBKB News at 6.
Yeah. Visit WBKB11.com for sports, weather, and news updates anytime, day or night.
And check us out on our Facebook page and Twitter handle at WBKB11.
Join us tonight for WBKB News at 11 with Stephanie Manici. Have a great evening.